Sometimes the timing doesn't work out. Hello. Hi. My name is Jason, aka Woo Woo J Train. I've been trying to stream all week. I just couldn't get the timing of the draft to coincide when I was available. Um, so this one's we're already in the thick of it, unfortunately. But we'll roll with it. Just wanted to do one this week. I can't tomorrow. I can't Friday. I got this weekend booked. So just trying to, I don't know, stay in a rhythm. So anyway, um, calling this off the rails, and we are trying to fill up the bullpen. It's about 80% full, which is crazy. Uh, it's filled up a lot lately. I have noticed it takes longer for the drafts to fill right now, more than likely because there's all these NFL contests that have been launched, like the playoff best ball contest, which is great. I mean, but it does cause these to slow down. So I entered this one about 45 minutes ago, I want to say. Um, so it took a minute, but we're here. So anyway, I don't think I have this. I was having a problem with like my timing, the delay for my picks for some reason, but I don't appear to be having that issue today, which is great. So I don't know why, but anywho, let me. I think I have. Yeah, everything looks good. Cool, cool, cool. So I drew the third pick in this draft, and here's our board so far. So we had an Acuna Betts start, which is interesting. I went ahead and took Soto. I've been taking Aaron Judge over Soto almost every time I'm in this like 2-3 hole. Um, well, when I'm in the 3 hole, basically whoever's there, I take. But I have way more Aaron Judge than I do Juan Soto, so I'm trying to even that out a little bit. I don't want to fade Juan Soto. That's not what I'm trying to do. I just think it's kind of weird that he and Judge have flipped ADPs. I mean, I guess it's not weird, but Judge has a tremendous amount of upside. Uh, I think Juan Soto's floor is probably higher with health and just how he operates. But I've just kind of made a flag plant that I'm going to take Judge more than I'm going to take Soto if they're still available. Um, so we started with 10 straight outfielders going, which is pretty. Well, I wouldn't say it's pretty standard nowadays because Freddie Freeman's worked his way into the first round relatively consistently. Um, but nothing really stands out other than Tatis. Like I've seen Tatis go anywhere from somewhere in the first 3, not very often, granted, to I got him 10th the other day, and that's just one draft. But um, I don't know if people know what to do with Tatis. He's kind of an interesting case. I'm hoping that he returns to his form prior to last. Like he was fine last year, but whenever I'm looking at these first round picks, I'm trying to pick out the guy who could have the Acuna like season last year, where he just goes absolutely nuts. And I think Tatis might be that guy. So we'll go ahead and bring up the board. So I started with Soto, and then I went with Trey Turner and Rafael Devers. I think in this spot, Zach Gallen's fallen a little bit. I think I'll go ahead and take my first pitcher here. I don't like Gallen as much as I did last year because there's not nearly as much value. But the dude throws a lot of innings. He's a very, very good pitcher. I do have concerns with him at this price. I think there's a lot more ways for him to fail this high up, but I don't know. We'll see. And then I'm going to go ahead and take Brandon Nemo. I've been taking a lot of Nemo around, in this round 5 area. I really like his on base capabilities, which is huge in this format and on Underdog specifically. So I'm trying to build a little bit differently because I feel like the huge majority of my teams are like heavy on outfielder, heavy on pitcher, and then I'm just like eating the end of the draft up with infielders like all the time. And I want to diversify a little bit within my both my structures and my player exposures. It's just so hard to commit to infielders early because outfield is not very deep and pitching really dries up. Like once you get to like the Lance Lynn, Mackenzie Gore, like that area of pitching, which is right around here, right? Yeah. So once you get to pick like in the 160s or so, it starts to really tail off with pitching. It gets really difficult. So um, I feel like if you go heavy on infielders, you have to accept that either your pitching staff or your outfield is going to be weaker than you would like. But I'm trying to force those builds right now because I've been building one way pretty much the entire time I've been drafting. So let's see. We've got 11 picks until our next. So we should be around like pick 70-ish. We'll see who's there. I did watch the Stacking Dingers guys. They had a new show come out today. They had Bubba on. B Dentrek, I think is his ex Twitter handle. I thought it was great. Bubba is, I guess, more from the roto space, rotisserie leagues, like NFBC, stuff like that. But his perspective on best ball, I think, was very refreshing because I think those of us who primarily do best ball baseball, we kind of live in this echo chamber where we kind of hear the same things and the same perspectives over and over again. And I think it's nice to have some differing mindsets come into the fold, and maybe I know it kind of shook up how I am thinking about this, and kind of like validating in a way some others. I truly am leaning more into the just play the best plays mentality of drafting. I think there's obviously much more merit in football with trying to correlate for like the championship round because it's just one game. So, if you're drafting NFL best ball all year and you're trying to correlate what wound up being the Lions and Cowboys game was, very, very nice for fantasy production week 17. That makes sense. But in baseball, I don't really buy into it as much, not nearly as much. I'm trying to stack whenever I can, but I'm not going out of my way to force it because I just don't know that it's necessary. I think also we'll start hearing about, and I've started looking to it myself, scheduling. So looking at who's playing in Coors in Denver and who's playing in Cincinnati. I haven't looked at Cincinnati yet, but the first playoff round, if I'm doing my math properly with the when the first playoff round will take place in this format, Coors is basically a non-factor because I don't want to be totally wrong, but I think the Giants play in Coors in one of those in that playoff round, and like nobody's drafting Giants hitters. So I think we're gonna go ahead and just go with Freddie Peralta here. His strikeout upside is massive. Gave up quite a few runs last year. Let's see. I can't. Okay, let's do it this way. There we go. So 71 earned runs and 165 innings pitched. I mean, I don't really care about ERA all that much in this format, especially. But oh, geez, it's already my pick again. I think we need an outfielder here, and this is rough. I don't really like this. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and take Jesus Luzardo here. Let's do that. I don't really love much in the outfield here. I completely am off Lane Thomas. I have virtually no Evan Carter. Jordan Walker feels a little bit expensive, but also feels like one of those guys who, like, in his second year, if he figures it out, he could be a problem. Masataka Yoshida looks like a decent floor kind of guy. Doesn't quite have the ceiling of like Marcell Ozuna or Jorge Soler. Doesn't have like that power. And I've been getting to Ozuna and Soler quite a bit lately, so I think the Luzardo thing was more of an exposure play because I don't have too much of him. So through how many? What are we in? 7th round? Yeah. Okay. So through 7 rounds, I've got a 3-2-2 build. And we went Gallen, Peralta, Luzardo so far for pitching, Trey Turner and Rafael Devers for infield, and then Juan Soto and Brandon Nimmo in the outfield. We've got 14 picks here. Let me, real quick, I need a different transition. Hold on one second. I thought I had my... Don't know why I don't have my chat thing available to me. Let's refresh. Okay. Sorry, guys. I just wanted to make sure if anybody hopped in and was participating in the chat, I wanted to make sure I could see you, so I had to refresh this thing real quick. Still getting the hang of this order of operations. I know a lot of people use apparently like StreamYard is really popular in this space. I hadn't heard of it until I was on with Dark Sheep, which was awesome. That was a lot of fun. So I'm still trying to figure out like how to make it all work with OBS, but whatever. You don't care about that. So we've got 10 picks until our next pick. I'm just going to kind of see where we're at when we get there. Like, if Tristan Cassis is still there, or if Yandy Diaz probably will be there, I might just go with one of them. Again, trying to force more of these, like, 8th, 9th, 10th round infielders into my teams, because a lot of the teams that I've been building are built the same way. And I don't want to overcommit to that. I mean, it feels like it's the right way to build teams, but I want to have some outs in case it doesn't work out for whatever reason. So, let's see. Stephen Kwan. So far, I have 0 Stephen Kwan. And I think for me, in terms of like when I'm drafting teams and thinking about what do I need each week to make this pick or this team work, like especially when you get into the playoff rounds. Stephen Kwan's a great on-base guy. He's always there. He plays every single day. Playing time's not going to be an issue. But when I look at what do I need to win a tournament, he just doesn't fit it for me. I think he's a great guy to just kind of get you there, to get you through the regular season. But if Steven Kwan is one of your scores in like the final or in a playoff round or something, um, either he had an absolutely nuclear week, or probably the rest of your outfielders just didn't get there, which might put you up a creek. Um, I'm totally out on Steven Kwan, and I've heard some decent arguments in his favor, but I just can't get there. I think I'm probably gonna be fully out on him this year. I'm gonna make Brendan Tuma proud and go ahead and take Tristan Cassis here. I've been again trying to force more of these, 8th, ninth, 10th round infielders into my teams to just make them different than the rest of my teams. I probably need to take an outfielder soon. Excuse me. I've been drafting Josh Lowe quite a bit. One of the guys I follow on X, Twitter, Mike Kurland, does some really interesting work with, MLB lineup, predictions and stuff like that. And I saw his piece on the Rays today, and he's got Josh Lowe listed as a strong side platoon, which makes sense. I'm hoping that he can get in the lineup every day, but that's probably not going to happen. So he feels a little risky. Here, let's see. I got Soto and Nemo. There's two pretty good floor guys. I'm going to back off of Riley Green a bit. I'm actually going to take James Outman. I feel like he fits this team really well. I drafted a lot of Riley Green early. I feel fine about him. I have more Eloy than I care to admit again, which he'll probably break my heart again. But I've been getting quite a bit of Outman lately. I mean, he's going to hit in the lower third probably of that Dodgers lineup. But that Dodgers lineup is also like potentially one of the best we've literally ever seen. So, I don't know. I'm taking Outman there as an upside play and hoping it works out. I kind of like this build. I need to catch up on outfield though. So if you're just tuning in, or if you're not able to watch and you're just listening, I drew the third pick. The stream started about the third round-ish. It had some technical issues. I'm an idiot. But anyway, so from the third slot, I took Juan Soto. The first two picks were Acuna and then Mookie. And so Soto and Judge were there. I've been taking Judge over Soto the majority of the time, but I'm trying to get more Soto exposure because I don't have enough. So I went with Soto on the way back and went with Trey Turner and then Rafael Devers. And then after that, Zach Gallen, Brandon Nemo, and then Freddie Peralta, Jesus Luzardo, and then Tristan Cassis and James Outman. So again, pitchers are Gallen, Peralta, Luzardo. Infield's Trey Turner, Devers, and Cassis. Outfield Soto, Nemo, Outman. 13 picks away. This pitcher range right here, I've been living here. I drafted a ton of Walker Buehler early on. I intentionally backed off of him because I just had way too much exposure to him. I haven't drafted him in a really long time, and I'd like to get to him again if I can, but I have enough Buehler exposure. So, but I really like Hunter Green this year. He just fits this format so well. I'm always thinking in terms of week to week, who can get there? What do I need? Especially when we get to the playoffs. And Hunter Green has as much upside as any pitcher on the board. He will get absolutely lit up from time to time, but his strikeout stuff is nuts. Hoping he can stay healthy and pitch, 150 innings would be great. If Cincinnati's going to compete, they're really going to need him to anchor that staff, I think. Merrill Kelly, I have 0 of. I'm fading him again this year. He dunked on my face last year. Hard. I had none of him, and he turned into Greg Maddux, in the playoff round. I feel like every time he went out there in the best ball playoffs last year, he just went nuts. It was so irritating. But I love Buehler. I love Bradish. And Joe Musgrove scares me a little bit with his health, but I feel like he's a little underpriced for his talent. So, yeah, I've been eating the pitching alive in this range. I don't really like... I hope TJ Friedel falls to me, but I doubt that's going to happen. If he doesn't, I'll probably take another pitcher coming up. This is the conundrum. If you want to get exposure to some of these infielders who go a little bit earlier in the first 8 or 9 rounds, if you pick 3 or 4 of them, you got to make a decision, I think. Am I going to chase pitching later in the later rounds, or am I going to chase outfield in the later rounds? For this draft, I'm just going to kind of let whatever happens happen. But I don't like where my outfield is right now on this team. We'll try to make it up later if we can. We'll see what happens. Hello. Welcome. I'm actually surprised I see it in a different spot. Hold on a second. Let me play with this a little bit. Okay. Figure it out. Got to pick in 3 picks. Let's see what happens. Hoping TJ Friedel falls to me. I'm not necessarily in love with TJ Friedel, but he plays in Citizens Bank Ballpark, which is a great hitter's park. I'm guessing Bass is going to take a pitcher. Yes. All right, we're going to go ahead and take Friedel. That worked out. I don't suspect that Friedel's going to be anything other than an everyday bat in their lineup. So, I don't know. He just feels kind of safe-ish. And then, man, this is tough. I have a bunch of guys who have really solid floors but not high ceilings. I'm just going to take Nootbaar here. I'll take Lars Nootbaar. He didn't really perform like we would want to last year, but I'm going to take a look. Let's see how many at-bats he had. I think he was hurt for a decent chunk of the season. And it really took him a minute to actually get going. All right, where's play? He was getting a lot of steam last year toward the end of the year. really rocketing up some draft boards relative to where he started, if my memory is serving correctly. Didn't fully work out last year though because of the all the missed time. But I mean, if he plays 135, 140 games, he's gonna get a ton of at bats. Sorry, I keep clearing my throat. All right, we're 9 picks away. Currently, I have a 3-3-5 build, so 3 pitchers, 3 infielders, 5 outfielders. And I really need to fill out this pitching staff next. I think I can turn outfield off for a while. I'm going to have to. I feel like I kind of caught up at outfield, but now I need to button up this pitching rotation. And I don't really like the pitchers in this range, so this is going to be a mishmash of nonsense that I don't like. Hunter Brown just went. He has been one of my favorite targets lately. Last year was his rookie season, and he really showed some potential upside. Through 155 innings last year. Just feel like, especially in this range, he's a guy that has upside to warrant his current price. We see Rhys Hoskins continue to climb up the draft board. He just went at 136. That's a little bit of an anomaly. Actually, his ADP is 152 and a half now, so he's dropped a little bit. I can't wait to see where Rhys Hoskins signs. That's going to have a huge impact on where he's being drafted. I hope he goes somewhere like to the Cubs or I don't know, Milwaukee or something. I'm just making stuff up, but just not Seattle or a ballpark that suppresses right-handed power. That would be devastating. Oh, that was a brutal run out. I wanted one of McKenzie, Bibby, or Barrios, and they went back to back to back. So, man, that just ruined my life. I'm going to go ahead and go with Erod. I'm going to miss my pick. They get it? They get it? Oh, yes. Whew. That's close. That was a panic pick. I'm not really thrilled with Eduardo Rodriguez. But I need pitching. I'm struggling. The staff is not turning out how I would like it. Chris Sale rocketed it up. That's interesting to me. He gets traded from Boston to Atlanta. That's the only thing that's changed. He got, they inked him to a nice extension. And then he just flew up the board. I think he was going in the 200s. The 200th pick-ish. Now he's all the way up to 148. I'm going to go ahead and go with Charlie Morton. Just hope he stays healthy. I don't love Charlie Morton this year, but I gotta fill out this pitching staff somehow, some way. So I figure we'll give that a shot. Let's try to forecast our next pick here. So we're gonna be at 166 and then 171. So let's scroll down a bit. A pitcher I've been drafting pretty steadily lately, and this is all Tuma's fault, is Lance Lynn. So I like subjecting myself to pain, apparently. I see the merit behind him, though. He throws a ton of innings. He still strikes out a lot of guys. Uh, he gave up a eyes popping out of my head amount of home runs last year. But he's going to be in a much more friendly ballpark for home runs than he was last year. So I'm hoping that he can reduce the number of home runs he gives up while keeping his reliability and his strikeout capability. So I haven't been going out of my way to get Lance Lynn into my lineups, but with how I've been trying to build lately, he just kind of feels like a dude that I can count on to throw some innings. That's pretty much all I'm looking for at this point. 11 picks away. We should be, I think we'll probably be getting pretty close to the dinger opening up. The main flagship contest. $10 entry. I think $100. Well, last year was $100,000 to first. I don't know if it'll be the same this year. But I think if the bullpen fills up in the next 2 weeks, is that reasonable? I don't know. It all depends on these playoff football contests. I think once people stop drafting them, they'll come over here. I'm also excited to see what other kinds of contests Underdog comes up with. Because it's not going to just be this and the dinger. There'll be a couple others. But I'll be interested to see if there's some 3-entry max things or 20-entry, different price points. Probably dabble in some of that stuff. But my main focus is going to be this tournament and then the big one, the dinger, when it opens up. Taylor Ward just went. He got autoed. I think this guy's on auto draft. I have a ton of Taylor Ward again. He was looking good last year. He was looking really good last year, and then he got hit in the face by a fastball. And, that ended his season abruptly. But he was looking like he was going to pay off his price from last year. When you get to the teens rounds with outfielders, you're really, for me, I'm just looking primarily for people who are, I think, going to play every single day and just hoping that they don't suck. But Jared Kelenic, I honestly don't know if he's going to play every day. I also don't know that he's really any good. We don't yet know where Justin Turner's going to go, but I have been using him as kind of one of these late round targets, late-ish. I say late round, it's only the 14th round, but that's late for outfield. So we'll get our next pick done here in 4 picks, and then we'll kind of recap the team again. Hoping next week the schedule will be a little bit more flexible and the drafts will be filling up quicker so that I can just do this whenever I want to instead of having to try to time it. Let's go back up to where the actual player pool is. I don't have any Michael King. Should I have Michael King? I'm very interested to see if I've just been completely missing him for some reason. Well, it doesn't matter. He just went. Okay, I hate everything. Lance Lynn just went, so I'm angry. And, I'm just going to take Jarren Duran again. I have a lot of him this year. probably going to lead off against righties, against lefties. I'm based on whatever I've seen. I think he's probably going to be in the lower third of their lineup, but he is going to play every day. So, just kind of like him as a late round. He's projecting very well at Steamer, like relative to his where he's being drafted. I haven't looked at our guy Baseball's sheet for a minute, but last time I looked at that, Duran was still projecting pretty nicely. And then I want to take Trevor Story here, but I think I need a pitcher. And I think it's going to be Mackenzie Gore. And I'm going to hope this is the year that Mackenzie Gore breaks out. Let's look up his stuff from last year. 136 innings pitched, only about 151 strikeouts. So that's good. Strikeouts per 9. 67 earned runs. So basically a 4.5 ERA last year. I'm guessing he's going to get a full workload this year, hopefully. But when I'm looking at pitching late here, I took quite a bit of Bailey Ober early because he feels just kind of like a safe guy. Just, okay, here's your final pitcher. He's a dude who's going to have like a strikeout per inning and whatever, move on. But this team needs upside with the pitching. I need some guys to overperform for this to work because this pitching staff's pretty weak. So that's why I went Mackenzie Gore there. I think he has the ability to do it. I think we're all just waiting for that breakout season. But let's go ahead and recap the team so far. So we are through 15 rounds. And I drew pick number 3, the pitching staff. So it's a six pitchers, 3 infielders, and 6 outfielders right now. The pitching staff is Zach Gallen, Freddie Peralta, Jesus Luzardo, Eduardo Rodriguez, Charlie Morton, and Mackenzie Gore. The infield is Trey Turner, Rafael Devers, and Tristan Cassis. And the outfield is Juan Soto, Brandon Nimmo, James Outman, TJ Friedel, Lars Nootbaar, and Jarren Duran. I didn't realize I have a little 3-man stack with Boston here. I was not even thinking about that. So that's kind of handy. It's like the against righties, leadoff hitter. Cassis, will they bat him second? I don't know. But anyway, guys will comprise the top, 3 of the top 4 batters in their lineup. So I like that. 11 picks away. Let's double check the board. Try to see any funkiness, any weird builds. I don't really see any. Senpai really went all in with the outfielders early. I like this build. I don't know what to do with Nolan Jones. I took him in a draft recently just because he was there. He fell a little bit. He feels like the trap this year. The guy who had an unexpectedly good year last year is getting bumped up this year because of that, and also because of the outfield scarcity. He's going in the same range as, I was going to say Christian Yelich. No, that's wrong. Springer, Nemo, Castellanos, Bellinger, Jones, those guys are right around each other. George Springer does nothing for me anymore. I have no Nick Castellanos this year, and that really does worry me. But I don't know what Cody Bellinger is. So, like, this range of outfielders, I just don't really like. I feel like Jones is overpriced. I think Springer might be old and not great anymore. Castellanos isn't a spring chicken, and Cody Bellinger's, I don't know. His career's been really, really weird so far. Um, so I don't really know what to do with Nolan Jones. If I'm hoping he doesn't, you know, I'm hoping he doesn't go crazy this year because if he does, I'm screwed because I don't have any of them hardly. I think I've drafted him like 3 times. So 7 picks away. This is probably gonna be. This is probably gonna be a 7-6-7 build. We shall see. I wouldn't mind if Brent Rooker fell to me. Like I don't love Brent Rooker, but um, he's definitely got some power, and he should play every single day. So I like that combination this late with an outfielder. We'll see. I love this guy's name. Ball so hard you. I like that. He attends the University of Balling Hard. Rooker. No, I don't like his name. I hate it. It's a stupid username. Oh god. Touched my HDMI cord, freaked out. Alright, we're good. This is brutal. Looking at the board ahead of me, like I feel like I need